Dry your eyes, mate. I know it's hard to take that Deontay has been beat up. There's plenty more fish in the sea. Yo, what's up guys? Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash the subscribe button, it really helps me out. And also, if you guys could smash the like. Once again, it goes a long way for channel growth and things like that. So thank you guys for the support, and hopefully you guys enjoyed me serenading you into this video. Maybe we have another career in the future. Maybe this boxing lark and the daily grind is not for me. But anyway, till this day, Deontay Wilder and his fans continue to make the most pathetic excuses known to man. Deontay Wilder himself, of course, has been full of excuses, pulling out some crackers, blaming the weight of his ring attire on the ring walk, accusing Tyson Fury of dirty tactics, moaning about the referee Kenny Bayless, accusing Anthony Durrell of being a double agent, and now his fan base are accusing Tyson Fury of doctoring his gloves. The excuses really are coming thick and fast. I want to know what's next in regards to the excuses. To be honest with you, they're really using their imagination right now. So I've got to give them credit on that regard. But it's getting a little bit silly now. Let's be honest about it. It's getting a little bit silly. You guys who support Deontay Wilder, no, not support, because I've spoken to some actually quite reasonable Deontay Wilder fans on my channel. But you Deontay Wilder fanboys, the cult of Deontay Wilder, you guys really are starting to embarrass yourselves now. It's tragic for you, don't get me wrong, but funny for us. So keep on going, but a lot of these guys at this point are really exposing themselves as people who have never really set foot in a boxing gym. They've never tried on a pair of gloves, they've never sparred, they've never hit the bag or the pads, etc. These guys have no clue what they're talking about. First and foremost, the gloves debacle has already been debunked online by numerous channels. I would suggest you guys actually get off your fat asses and go in a boxing gym, hit the bag, do some sparring, and try some horsehair gloves. You'll be surprised. Horsehair gloves are fairly flexible. They are certainly more flexible than the foam type gloves. And, the things these guys are accusing Tyson Fury of, well, first and foremost, that's debunked if you've actually worn a pair of horsehair gloves and sparred, hit the bag, etc. So if you guys have used those gloves, then you know what I'm talking about. If not, I would suggest, trying on a pair yourself, with hand wraps of course, and, just trying them out for yourself, see what you can do, you'll be surprised. And if you can't do that, just watch some videos online of it being debunked. There are people who have made videos actually showing physical gloves, and, them doing similar things to what Tyson Fury was doing in the Fury-Wilder rematch. But, this whole thing that Tyson Fury, his fist wasn't in the glove and it was lowered down on the wrist section, that is so preposterous, it's unreal. First and foremost, Tyson Fury was inspected by Team Wilder, having his hand wraps and his gloves put on. The gloves were inspected by the relevant commission. Once those gloves are on, try and actually move your fist from inside the glove, to lower down. It's impossible. Once you've got hand wraps on, it's impossible. It's hard to do it. It's very hard to do it when you haven't got hand wraps on, if you're wearing 10-ounce gloves. It's extremely hard. A lot of these guys have clearly never boxed before, or never worn boxing gloves, or just never boxed recreationally. I've never done any competitive boxing, pro or amateur, but I've sparred a fair bit. I've been to various different gyms, I've had various different coaches, I've worn various different gloves, and with the gloves, not one glove is the same. Some gloves are more malleable than others, some gloves have more flexibility, etc. And yeah, these guys are just chatting absolute nonsense. Like I said, these guys have never sparred or done anything. They are just absolutely embarrassing. And the sad fact is, a lot of these guys are grown men, middle-aged men who should know a lot better, But what do I expect, They roll around calling another man they've never met a king. Let's say my dad heard me say something like that along those lines, he'd probably slap me in the face, to be honest with you. That type of language is not appropriate as far as I'm concerned. I don't care where you're from. That type of language and behaviour from a grown-ass man is completely unacceptable and it's utterly embarrassing. But I believe these guys when they say Deontay Wilder's their king. I really do. Hence the stupid excuses. Hence these guys being so willing to make a fool of themselves to protect their idol, Deontay Wilder. And another thing, when Anthony Joshua lost to Andy Ruiz and the rematch was in negotiations, a lot of these Wilder fanboys were saying that Anthony Joshua had to fight Andy Ruiz in America because he was no longer the champion. He needed to beat Andy Ruiz in Ruiz's backyard because he no longer had the belts. That was the narrative a lot of these guys were spinning back then. Where's that same narrative to Deontay Wilder, their king? Why doesn't Deontay Wilder have to go to England to fight Tyson Fury to get that belt back? It's not his belt anymore. Tyson Fury's the champion. If Deontay Wilder's a king, like you guys like to say, surely he's willing to fight in England. Ironically, where, some of the world's most famous kings have come from. Kings, back in the day, would conquer other land belonging to other kings, and if they won the battle, they would get the land. Deontay Wilder doesn't have the land, he doesn't have the belts. Then, in that case, like a king, he should go into Tyson Fury's backyard and try and get those belts back. But we know that's not going to happen. Deontay Wilder fans are absolutely embarrassing. They are the cult of low expectations. They shit on what everybody else does, despite it being a lot better than Wilder's own career. And then they praise Wilder for not putting in half the hard work that these guys have done. I'm talking about guys like Fury and Joshua and even Vladimir Klitschko. I hear a lot of these guys talking up Deontay Wilder's 10 successful title defences and, basically mentioning Deontay Wilder's name with Muhammad Ali's. I mean, these guys weren't doing the same thing for Vladimir Klitschko. He ranked up a lot more defences than Deontay Wilder and against better opposition. Yet you never heard these guys praising Vladimir Klitschko for doing, the same and better than Deontay Wilder. The likes of a prime Alexander Povetkin is better than any win on Wilder's resume by far. Prime David Haye, better than any win on Wilder's resume by far. Prime Shagayev, better than any win on Deontay Wilder's resume by far. I could go on. These guys never praised Vladimir Klitschko. He had 10 and more successful title defences. You never heard these guys praise him, and he fought better competition. Again, it just goes to show the cult of low expectations. That is what I call the Deontay Wilder fans. The cult of low expectations. And you see that in the way they're reacting to this loss. There's no accountability, there's no responsibility, just victimhood, blaming, and crying. That's it. Like a little 4-year-old who can't play with his toys. You guys need to slap. And, it's funny as well, man. A lot of these guys who support Wilder, and they've got their channels, a lot of these dudes like to paint out they're from the streets and whatnot. They try and paint a certain image. But when you cry that another man you've never met lost a fight, then your credibility goes right out the window. If that emotionally triggers you, God knows what you're like when it actually goes down. You're probably hiding under a table, you little fucking pussy. Come on now. You guys need to do better. You're embarrassing yourselves. Don't get me wrong, it's fun for us, but eventually, you guys need to sort yourselves out and just accept reality for what it is. The truth hurts, but it becomes a lot easier once you've accepted it for what it is. Just accept Deontay Wilder got beat by the better man on the night, and he's got a chance in this rematch to avenge that defeat. Maybe actually, instead of fueling Deontay Wilder's delusion, actually offer this guy advice. A lot of you guys out there are tight with Deontay Wilder, apparently. Then offer this guy real advice. Don't just blow smoke up his arse and, give him that mindset that he doesn't need to change or improve. Because if he goes in there with that mindset, he's going to get beat again. Unless he lands that right hand, he's going to get beat up again. So, yeah, you guys need to do a lot better. Get a grip. Man up. Move on. It's just a boxing match. Jesus Christ. But I'm sure the fun and games will continue I would be on the outside looking in, having a laugh, but I truly believe it's a little bit tragic. I really do. You know, grown men can't accept their losses. They can't accept their shortcomings, and it's always somebody else's fault. And that's what the Western world is becoming, you know. Responsibility is not the trendy thing right now. It's all about victimhood and finger pointing for your own inadequacies. Instead of working on them to get better, it's always somebody else's fault. Share your thoughts below. Peace.